Hello students! Here in this video, I am going to go through the different tools on this circuit simulation that we are going to be using for an assignment, as well as give you a couple of hints to help you complete the assignment. So when you first go to the web page, it'll look like this, and you're going to want to click on the lab option. That's the kind we're playing in. If you want to try the intro first, go for it, but this is where you're going to do your assignment. When I open it up, oops, I was doing stuff. When I open it up, it's going to look blank like this, and you're going to have to click on a couple of things to make it all ready to go. So first, take a look at the top right corner. There's a bunch of options here. It should already have show current clicked, and you want to make sure that electrons is clicked, and it should already have labels clicked. We're just also going to click values. Now you can start building a circuit. So on the left here are all the different pieces that you can use to build a circuit. You can kind of scroll through with these up and down arrows to find the different things. So use these pieces, you just drag them onto the empty space to start using these materials. As you are going through this, if you put a bunch of stuff out here and you're done using it, and you don't want it in this space, you can click on the orange reset button, which is down here in the bottom right. And when you click that, it's going to put all of those pieces away. Now we're going to look at some of how to know you've built a circuit. So you're going to need a battery. And here I'm just going to make a really easy one with a battery and some wires. So now you'll notice when you take out a piece, they've got these like little red dashed circles. But then when I put it next to another red dashed circle, they connect and they turn black. And now they're connected. Right? These things aren't going to come apart and I can move it around. If you do want to separate any of these, you just click on where they're joined, it circles it, and you click on the scissors, and now they're separated. So that's how you can put together and remove pieces. You can also kind of drag and change the size of pieces, what direction they're pointing, all those fun things. Now, once you have actually created a loop, because you have to have a full circle for the energy to flow through. And once you've created an actual loop, you'll start to notice some movement. So here, those little blue circles, those are our electrons, and they're moving really fast in this circuit since all it is wires, basically. And the faster they move, the more, or the less resistance they have, right? Resistance is the kind of the stopping of those electrons moving. So if they're moving really fast, there's not really any resistance in this circuit. You'll also notice that the battery shows that it is on fire. So this would not be a circuit you would want to make in real life. It would not be a safe circuit. But in our little simulator here, you can set things on fire. With these, there's a couple of tools you can use to measure some of the things going on in this circuit. So if you look over on the right, we have a voltmeter, and this measures the voltage. So you do need to kind of put both sides on the circuit, and then notice it'll change, it'll show a number down here. So I have 0.35 volts running through that part of the circuit. And you can move around the things to see if there is a difference in how much voltage is moving through different parts. But that would just be between the pieces of that circuit. Another tool over here is the ammeter. This measures the amps or the current. So I just kind of place it over here and it's showing me an awful lot of amps going through this circuit, right? And it gives me my number down here. But that's how you can measure the amps on your circuit. The last thing that I want to tell you is we have light bulbs. And when you have your light bulb connected in a circuit, there'll be yellow lines coming off the light bulb. The bigger the yellow lines, the brighter it is. That note should be on your assignment somewhere as well written to help you remember that as you are working on the questions. All right, at this point, you should be able to at least finish part 1 of the assignment. So pause the video here and come back for a quick reminder and direction before you go on to part 2. So part 2 here is asking you to put a gap in your circuit. So basically all you need to do, the circuit you made in part 1, you're just going to find a spot. So I'm going to click here where some items are connected, and you're going to separate them by clicking on the scissors. So now I have this gap here in my circuit to see if different things that I fill that gap with are going to conduct electricity or not. So now you can follow the directions for part 2 to find out whether that item is a conductor or an insulator. All right, the last little hints I'm going to give you are going to help with parts 3 and 4, where you need to build a series circuit and a parallel circuit. So they're fairly simple, the difference between them. So a series circuit is where you have one big loop, kind of like the circuit that you see here on the screen, right? I've got one big loop, and when I close my circuit, right, I have that energy flowing in one loop. Then I am going to make this into a parallel circuit. So parallel circuit is where you kind of have multiple loops next to each other, okay? So I've got my circuit there. Now I'm going to start adding, and I'm going to add another loop below this, okay? So I've got some wires. I'm going to use a switch here, connect it. So you'll notice in my parallel, it's still going through this first loop here. But once I've made and closed my second loop, my energy should be flowing through the whole thing. Okay, so it's doing something weird with the switches, but basically the difference for a parallel circuit, you're not going to use switches, so it should work more correctly. But the difference is you've got multiple loops stacked on each other for a parallel circuit. And that's our basic difference between a series circuit and a parallel circuit. Hopefully that is enough information to help you finish up your PhET simulation. And if you have more questions, please ask your teacher.